Hey guys, Old School Brian here. Part 2 of my 500 sub Q&A. We're going to go right into it. Next question comes from Wee Gloverful. Number 1, what is your favorite system? It changes all the time, but right now I'm currently, probably my favorite system is Super Nintendo, but I'm starting to lean more towards the GameCube. I've recently been playing it more, and found a lot more games that I like. So I've been leaning towards that, but probably the Super Nintendo right now. What 5 games for that system are a must play? Super Mario All-Stars, could you get a bunch of them in one. Kirby Superstar, Final Fantasy 3, Secret of Mana is one of my favorite games, and then of course Super Metroid. Next question comes from Mr. Coleman, Mr. McColeman 28. Number 1, what is your favorite gaming character? I'd have to either say Chrono from Chrono Trigger or Link from Zelda. Number 2, what is the most expensive item in your collection? I've already answered it, probably somewhere in between the Vectrex and the Chrono Trigger. I'm not sure exactly what the Vectrex is worth yet, so one of them. Next question comes from I Kill for Fun. Number 1, what made you start collecting? Nothing really. I just started doing it. I don't know. I kept amassing stuff over the years of playing, and it just basically turned into like a collecting, you know. And then the second question is, what is your favorite JRPG? So it's Japanese RPG. I haven't really played any Japanese games. I don't really play them because I don't have any systems I could play them on. I mean, I could play them on a Super Nintendo, but I haven't. The only one I did play was Mother. So that's the only one I played. So I really can't answer that question. I'd love to get into the Japanese gaming. I do own Japanese games. I just never really got into actually playing them really. Alright, next question comes from Geekier Days. Number 1, at what point did you realize you were or wanted to be a video game collector? I'm not sure. You know, a few years ago I realized that I basically had a collection even though I wasn't attempting to collect. And then I just slowly got into it. I started getting into finding the box games and then, you know, stuff like that, and it just, you know, I really enjoyed it, you know, hunting them down, looking for them, stuff like that. So, you know, that's basically how it happened. I mean, I've been gaming since, you know, mid-'80s. So, you know, years after that is when I started buying a lot more games. And then, you know, a few years ago, I actually really got into the collecting aspect of it. Alright, number 2, what is your opinion of people that are just into the hobby in regards to reselling? If you're in the I mean, if you collect solely to if you're buying just because you think it's an investment, you know, I wouldn't, you know, I don't think it's a very good idea. You know, I really don't even know how to answer that question. What is your opinion on people that are just into the hobby in regards to reselling? If you're into, like I said, if you're into it just to buy games now and you really don't care about them and you're just going to sell them later, you know, it's probably not very smart. I mean, as far as an investment, you know, it's doing as an investment, I mean, you would have to amass tons and tons of stuff at very, very, very good prices in order to make anything off of it later on. I mean, it's almost not even worth the trouble. I myself, I'll buy games that I don't even want. You know, if I see games, I mean, that's why you see me, I pick up tons of doubles, because if I see it, I'll buy it, because I know, you know, what I can get for it. I mean, I recently picked up a Mario RPG for like $2. And, you know, I picked it up because I know I can make some money off of it. You know, I already had a copy. So, you know, that's the way I do it. But as far as buying it to just buy it and hope, you know, to make an investment out of it later, I don't think is incredibly smart you're not enjoying it throughout that time. Next question comes from the collection guy. What is your favorite game on any system? Legend of Zelda. Number 2, what is your favorite gaming system? Super Nintendo. Next question comes from Skoog Gaming. Number 1, what is your favorite Nintendo 64 game? Super Smash Brothers. What's the worst game you ever bought for full retail? Call of Duty World at War. That's probably the game that I was most disappointed with, being a huge fan of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare series. World at War just kind of sucked. Next question comes from Elta Bolt. Number 1, what is your favorite video game related gift? I'd say I haven't gotten a lot of video game related gifts. I mean, I guess like if I went back, to my childhood, it was probably awesome to get a Nintendo at that time. And then later on in life, I had game systems, but I didn't own a 360. I just wouldn't go out and spend the money on it when they came out. So I was playing on my brother's 360 for a while, and him and my family actually chipped together and got me a 360, which is a pretty funny story. They knew I wanted one, but I didn't want to pay for one. So I think it was like Christmas or something, and they get a Xbox 360. He takes it out the box and wraps the box with like crap in it and gave it to me as a joke, and I fell for it. I thought, he is a cruel kid, so he would just give me a box of nothing. And then, later on they gave me the 360, so I was pretty happy with that. Alright. Next question comes from Neo Classic Gamer. Number 1, what's your favorite villain? Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. He's probably my favorite villain only because when I play Mortal Kombat, I love being Sub-Zero, and so I would just have to stay with Sub-Zero. I think a lot of people don't even know that Sub-Zero is a bad guy unless you actually play the games nowadays, not just back when you were playing just the regular fighting games. Number 2, what's your most expensive game you ever bought, and willing to say how much was it retail? Be honest with you, I never bought all the stuff that I have, I've bought for extremely cheap. I've never paid full price for a collector game. Everything I buy is, and I hate to say it, it's usually from people that don't know what the stuff's worth. So the most expensive games that I've ever bought are just retail Xbox 360 games or Wii games now, $60, $50 or whatever. All my collection, I've never paid full, value for any of this stuff. In fact, most of it I've paid next to nothing for. Like some of my box Super Nintendo games, I mean, I paid $2 or $3 for them in mint condition. Alright. Back to the Future 98. Number 1, what was the first console you ever played? Nintendo. Number 2, how was your little GameStop problem? It's still not over with. In fact, if you watch the video, I bought a couple games, and one of them wasn't sealed. I think it was Kirby's Epic Yarn. Wasn't sealed. Well, it was sealed, but it wasn't new. I also picked up Super Paper Mario used, and it doesn't work. So it's a whole nother problem. That game doesn't work. So I got the game that was sealed, that was actually used, and I paid full price for it. And then I bought Super Paper Mario, which was a used game, but it doesn't even work. It just disk error every time you put it in, which now I'm really pissed off. And I emailed them. Finally, I got a call back. They left a message so I can get. It was a district manager or something, so I'm gonna give him a call and see if we can figure this stuff out. Next questions come from Cyrus649. What is your favorite system? Super Nintendo. Number 2, what is your hated or least favorite system? I don't hate any systems, so my least favorite system, the system I played at least, is probably my Intellivision. Next question comes from Shady Great One. Number 1, what are your tattoos on your arm? I have a lot of them. My knuckles say love and pain. It just has a meaning to me. I got my wife's name on my hand. I got a tattoo for my friend on my arm. I got a cross. My grandfather had cancer. Right before he passed away, he gave me this cross. And mine got lost. And my brother had the same one, so I had my wife draw it up, and then I had my buddy tattoo it, just to kind of keep it with me. My grandfather meant a lot to me. And then I got a bunch of stars I just recently got. I mean, I got a lot of tattoos. One day I'll do a video. I know a lot of people have been requesting. One day I'll do a video and go over all of them with you guys. Alright, number 2. Favorite female character in a game. Dagger, Final Fantasy. Alright. Next questions come from Mr. Batchus18. What is your favorite game to play with your son? Awesome question. We like to play Double Dragon together. And Super Mario 3, we just take turns. It's one of his favorite games, and he gets so excited when he plays it, so it's awesome. It's just a trip to watch. Number 2, what was the one game that you hooked you on gaming when you were blah blah blah, if there was one. One game that hooked me on gaming when I was younger was I'd say it's probably Zelda. I love the game. Next question comes from the 8-Bit Theater. Number 1, favorite female gaming character in the game. Dagger from Final Fantasy. Next question comes from 97 Video Game Nerd. What's your favorite NES game? Zelda. What's your favorite Game Boy game? Contra. Next question comes from Apple Tech Channel. Number 1, favorite game for NES? Zelda. Number 2, what's the worst game you ever played in your life? Myst. Myst is my worst game. Next question comes from I Am Anthony Rocks. Number 1, favorite game system? Super Nintendo. Next question comes from Dark Lord 90266. What's your social security number? I'm going to PM it to you. Number 2, if you could have one item to add to your collection, what would it be? It would be a Nintendo 64 DD system box complete, and then I would like to have all the games for it boxed and complete. They only made a certain amount of them, and they were, I think you had to buy them through online orders, or phone orders, or online orders. So they didn't make a lot of them. They're very, you could find them, but they're very expensive. I know Gamester81 has one. He did a video on it. I've always wanted one. I will pick one up. It's not out of my price range. It's just not something I would get right now. Next question comes from Sethius. Number 1, rarest game you own? Probably Chrono Trigger. Number 2, you a fan of the Virtual Boy? I'm not a fan of the Virtual Boy, but I plan on picking one up very soon. I'm actually looking on an online auction site, and I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because I don't want you buying all my games, but I found an online auction site that's got gaming stuff, and it sells for 5 to 10% what the actual value is. It's ridiculous. I've picked up box systems for 15 bucks. So I'm actually looking at 2 Virtual Boys on there right now. One's just the system, one's boxed. Very good, decent condition, the box. And I'm planning on picking that up within the next week or so, hopefully. Next question comes from Nebula Tech Channel. Number 1, what do you do for a living? Currently, right now, I work at a rental store. We rent heavy-duty equipment, machines, bulldozers, stuff like that. Before that, I used to work for building cell sites, cellular antennas, putting antennas up on towers, buildings, stuff like that. I did asbestos removal for a while, and currently I'm trying to seek a job working for Verizon, setting up their communication stuff. Alright, number 2, how long have you been collecting games? Like I said, I've really actually actively been collecting for a few years, but you know, it all started off just amassing games that I was playing. Alright, next question comes from Retro1X Gaming. Best pickup ever. My best pickup ever I actually did a video about. I met this lady off of Craigslist. She told me she had a Nintendo and a bunch of games for it. And we worked out a price that was very cheap because I was assuming nothing was boxed. When I got there, everything was boxed. The NES action set boxed. All the games were boxed, and good games. Super Mario 3, Donkey Kong Classics, you know, there was a bunch of them. Marble Madness, a bunch of them, all boxed. And I got it for really cheap. I think I paid like, I don't know, off the top of my head, 30, 40 bucks for it. I mean, it was really, really cheap. And that was probably my best pick, probably one of my best pickups ever. Number 2, favorite GameCube game of all time, if any, Luigi's Mansion. Alright, I got time for me to do a couple more. Next question comes from Omega Minyan. How many controllers do you have? A lot. I did a video and I can't even remember how many, but I probably got a good 30 to 40 more since I did that video. Probably well over 200, I guess. Number 2, do you like Exardian? If you never played it, you should. I never played it, and after reading this question, I looked it up and checked it out, and I'm definitely going to pick it up and give it some gameplay, see how it is. Number 2, no, I'm sorry. Next question, Nintendo Oni Soft. Number 1, what made you start collecting? I already went over it. Number 2, rarest game you own? Chrono Trigger. Next question, 1795 Rocker. First console you ever played? Nintendo. 2, why did you start collecting? I already went over it. Next question, Young Zap. Number 1, game console that has given you the most memorable moments. I'd say the Nintendo, only because we were younger, played with my brother. I remember watching him play. There's some pictures and videos throughout the family of us playing, so it just, you know, that would be it. Next question, game that gave you the most memorable moments. And I would say it would probably be Zelda or Mario Brothers. That's the game we played the most when we were younger on that system. It was just fun playing the games with him and stuff like that. And to this day, me and my brother still play together. I mean, we play Call of Duty together. So we still play games together. Next question, John8581. Favorite game of all time? Zelda. First gaming system you ever had? Nintendo. Alright. That's it, guys. I'm going to stop it there. We probably got a couple more parts to this series. Thanks for watching. See you later.